Quanta Computer, the world's largest laptop manufacturer, began a remarkable 10-year, $45 million collaboration with CSAIL. The goal was to invent the computing technologies of the future, when Quanta's customers would demand human-friendly computing. Prototypes were built in the areas of connectivity, mobile devices, applications, automation, and natural human-computer interaction. By 2010, it had become clear to Chairman Lam and the CSAIL scientists that while devices were important to mobile computing, the real work needed to be done in the cloud. The project's name was changed from Tea Party to Cumulus. Project Cumulus was structured around 4 areas, the first of which was the cloud's infrastructure.
This thing, which is cloud computing, is changing the way that computing fundamentally works. And in this new picture, we have to revisit the designs of all of the sort of underpinnings of modern computer systems.
The second Cumulus research area was natural interaction. Projects included natural language processing, low-power speech recognition hardware, and spoken language computer interaction.
Language is so natural for people. It's very expressive and powerful. It's part of what makes us human. And speech is the most convenient form for us to express language. So I think it's important to develop the underlying technologies that will let people just speak to all these computers in different places in our lives.
41 science fiction movies about aliens since 2007.
Which was highly rated?
8 of them were with the rating higher than 7.
Show me the movie with the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
The Wizard of Oz was an adventure and family movie released in 1939. It had the song Over the Rainbow.
The final project in the natural interaction area was the development of 3D video technology that doesn't require the viewer to wear special glasses.
The challenge that we have set out to solve was to develop the next generation immersive video experience. This is exciting because in the near future, everybody will have this type of technology.
Cumulus has also focused on 2 application areas that can benefit from the power of cloud computing: healthcare and education. Research in these areas was driven by Quanta's determination to develop applications not only for profit, but also for the common good. In the education area, there were several projects, each designed to leverage the power of the cloud to improve education's quality and accessibility. 2 examples were Pentimento, a tool to help teachers create online content, and Wait Learning, which adds learning to the small downtime spaces that punctuate everyone's day. In the area of healthcare, the first project was the application of machine learning and other advanced analytic techniques to big data to help solve medical problems.
The world of medicine should be data-driven, but it isn't. So what we've been doing is we go out and we talk to clinicians and we try and identify an area where there's a problem and where there's data that could be analyzed in such a way to help solve the problem. So at the top level, what we're interested in is constructing automated tools that can look at data sets, extract from that data information that is actionable.
Video magnification really has 2 components. There's motion and there's color. And so the color magnification has lots of applications in terms of watching people's pulse. And so somehow this processing we're doing with color was actually amplifying motions. And that led us to develop this motion microscope to not only understand that, but now take advantage of that effect and create an algorithm that can take small motions and re-render them larger.
As the partnership between CSAIL and Quanta Computer reaches its 10-year mark, the question is, what has each party received from the collaboration? The CSAIL researchers have been empowered to invent technologies that will change the world. And what has Quanta received from the collaboration?
In this partnership, we have developed many new technologies, and some of them may seem far-fetched and futuristic today. But in time, I believe they will become commonplace and will affect Quanta's bottom line. It is then, and only then, will the full impact of this partnership be felt.
请你跟我分享你的败仗，你的胜仗，怎么摔伤，又怎么爬起后变得更强。当年的信念没忘却过账，我们绽放像灿烂烟火吧，看没有？的叫嚣声当节奏 ，Young and wild now we run this road， 我们向前走。
老公，明天记得缴光纤网路费跟手机账单哦。
老婆，可以改办台湾大哥大汇流专案吗？不止光纤上网、手机上网、网内通话，通通吃到饱，而且还有 HD 高画质频道可以看哦。
这样子要花多少钱啊？
每月799一份账单，一次搞定，省时省力又省钱。
区域限定优惠，快搜寻台湾大哥大汇流专案。
OK Google， 我想听爵士乐。
透过 My Music 播放爵士乐。
OK Google， 帮我设一个6分钟的水煮蛋计时器。
好，计时器水煮蛋，时间长度为6分钟。
OK Google， 开始扫地。
没问题，正在启动扫地机器人。
不会哦。
所以当我们重逢，请你跟我分享你的败仗，你的胜仗，怎么摔伤，又怎么爬起后变得更强。当年的信念没忘却过账，我们绽放像灿烂烟火吧，看没有？的叫嚣声当节奏 ，Young and wild now we run this road， 我们向前走。
The Web Conference 2020 opening ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning or good evening. I'm Sherry Shi. the MC for the Web Conference 2020 opening ceremony held in Taipei, Taiwan. I'm very honored and excited to be here today because this is the first time we are live streaming the event. Instead of seeing me standing on the podium far away from your seats, now you can see my face clearly right in front of you. Thanks to the advancement of web technologies and coinciding with the current global pandemic, we are meeting virtually on the internet. While coronavirus may force us to keep our distance, but it will not force us to stop sharing our knowledge. The main theme for this conference is AIoT, the artificial intelligence of things. It will host 3 keynote speakers and highlight numerous research tracks, workshops, and tutorials. We will reflect on the past 30 years of the web, share the latest research findings, and plan for the future of web-based technologies. The full program of the conference will bring together some of the most prominent and influential researchers, developers, policymakers, and thinkers in the areas of big data, artificial intelligence, healthcare, computer science, public policy, law, and human rights. Most importantly, today's event is sponsored by ELTA, a pioneer in new media industry in Taiwan. Now, I would like to introduce the CEO and founder of ELTA to you. Let's welcome Sally Chen.
Hello, everyone. I am the CEO of ELTA. I'm very happy to be here and introduce ELTA to you. ELTA is a Taiwanese original digital new media company, a technology company, and a TV station as well. It was born in a digital era and grew up in mobile popularity. ELTA cooperated with Zhonghua Telecom, the largest telecommunication company in Taiwan, using sports as a leader in digital convergence, cultivating sports, and broadcasting 3 Olympic Games and 3 World Cups, combining technology and sports. ELTA connects the world with digital video via MOD, the biggest IPTV platform in Taiwan. While the whole world has been affected by epidemic and changed to online activities, today is a very special and touching day. I sincerely wish that today's activities will be successful and safe to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally, for the contributions. ELTA has always been very supportive to all kinds of events. Organizing and managing this online conference in a short period of time is quite a challenging task. Next, I would like to introduce a very important person for the Web Conference 2020. Let's welcome General Co-Chair Dr. Yan Huang to provide opening remarks.
Taipei City Mayor Ke, Vice President of Academia Sinica Dr. Zhou, IWC2 Chair Professor Dame Wendy Hall, ladies and gentlemen on internet, good morning and good evening to everyone. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the Web Conference 2020, Taipei. This is the 29th edition of the conference series and also the 30 years celebration of the inception of the web. This year is really special for all of us because of coronavirus. First time ever, the Web Conference 2020 has to become online only. The good news is, so far, we have close to 1,000 people registered for the conference from 49 countries. Attendees can participate in presentation by Zoom or Chime or YouTube. Every day, we will have 10 to 15 online sections in parallel. If you miss a presentation, you can watch the recorded video later. The Web Conference 2020 is making history, and our effort and experience of the Web Conference 2020 will help to shape the future conferences of the world. Holding such a large conference is impossible without the help from ELTA TV, local organizers, volunteers, and the allied PCO. Special thanks to all our sponsors and partners for their financial support. In particular, our platinum sponsor, Quanta Computer, Zoom, Taiwan Mobile Company, our gold sponsors, Chunghwa Telecom and Microsoft, our silver sponsors, Far Eastern Telecommunications, Web for Good, and all our other sponsors, including Facebook, Pinterest, Yahoo Research, Amazon, and Google, as well as many government departments, such as Ministry of Science and Technology, Board of Science and Technology Executive Yuan, Bureau of Foreign Trade, Department of Information and Tourism, Department of Information Technology, Secretariat, Taipei City Government. Finally, I would like to thank all the authors attendees. It's because of you we can have such a wonderful conference in Taipei. Thank you and hope you all enjoy Web Conference 2020.
Thank you, Dr. Huang, for being part of the organizing committees. So our next speaker is also the part of organizing committees, General Co-Chair Professor Erwin Kim. So Professor Erwin Kim, he is part of our organizing committees right now, and he is in the Hong Kong, and he will join us by Zoom. So I will now turn the mic over to Professor Erwin Kim.
Dear distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global audience in front of your screen, no matter where you are. As I sit in the comfort of my office in Hong Kong, I welcome you to the 29th installment of the Web Conference series that had its inception back in 1994 at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. In the 30 years since Sir Tim Berners-Lee conceived the web in 1989, we have witnessed some amazing advances and great transformations of our society through the web. The web touches our daily lives and permeates through all parts of what we do in terms of retrieving information through search engines, shopping and doing finances through e-commerce, connecting us in this global village through social media, and entertaining us through streaming movies, music, and other forms of media. Therefore, I'm thrilled and delighted to see so many colleagues, researchers, industrialists, practitioners, who are the pioneers, trailblazers, inventors, entrepreneurs, movers, and shakers in advancing the field of the web, will gather here online in this conference to share their passion and their work about the web. This year's conference has a few firsts. Although attending conference is a social affair, this is the first social distancing conference in the series. This is also the first time we are totally online with not only one channel, but 3 channels available in the form of Zoom, Chime, and YouTube. Thanks goes to Zoom, Amazon, and Google for helping out. This is also the first time that many of us are confronted with the question, what does it mean to interact socially during an online conference on the web? Instead of the time and space limitation that we first thought we may encounter, we begin to see the possibility of having a virtual gathering that may reduce our carbon footprints, breaking the time and space constraints in our busy daily schedule, providing flexible with options and choices for people to wander in the virtual space during and beyond the conference period, and also ways to reach people in different regions with different social status that we were not able to reach before. The current technology is certainly not perfect, but the situation has forced and challenged us to think differently, so the web conference will once again lead the way in transforming how we participate in future conferences. Although it is difficult to predict what would happen in 2050, 30 years from now, I would certainly hope that the best is yet to come. Steve Jobs once said, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it." Today, we embark on a new journey in reinventing the web conference by going totally online. So let the future begins here now. I have too many people to thank and will reserve the proper time to do so later at the closing ceremony. However, I just want to thank two groups of people. First, you, the web community, who pulled together through this difficult and interesting time. And second, the local organizers and PCO for their tireless work behind the scenes in making this event a great success. Thank you for all your support that made this event uniquely special and infinitely memorable. May we all have a productive and successful Web Conference 2020 in Taipei or wherever you are virtually.
It's quite a different experience we virtually actually meeting on the internet. Thank you very much, Professor King. And this is the first time the web conference is held in Taipei, Taiwan. But you must think, why Taipei? Because Taipei has been transformed into a smart city. Taipei received 2 prestigious awards at the 2019 IDC Smart City Asia Pacific Award. So now, let's hear from the mayor of Taipei City, Wen Zheke.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As the mayor of Taipei City, I am pleased to have the opportunity to meet a variety of computer science experts, technology developers, and government representatives from around the world. I am also honored to deliver the opening remarks to the Web Conference 2020. In the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic, we can say that we are truly meeting on the internet. Since 1989, interpersonal relationships, products, and services around the world have been reshaped profoundly by the World Wide Web. In modern society, the internet has connected everyone and everything. In this digital age, a great city needs to learn how to be smart by using web technology. Taipei City government has initiated projects such as the Taipei IoT experimental platform, AIoT environmental factors sensing and communication, wire-free elderly personal security detection, and the urban and the rural cross-domain English smart campus learning villages. The Web Conference 2020 has an illustrious history of nearly 30 years, and this is the first time for the conference to take place in Taipei. I would like to express my gratitude to the Web Conference 2020 local organizing committee for taking on this challenging task despite the ongoing pandemic. Taipei is a resilient city and has responded quickly and comprehensively during the global public health crisis. Taiwan has also learned from COVID-19, just as we did from SARS, creating opportunities for adaptation and progression in the face of severe challenges. The success of the Web Conference 2020 will inspire digital governance and industrial innovation for future generations. Thank you for your participation. We hope that after the outbreak has ended, you will have the opportunity to visit Taipei and explore our city. Welcome to Taiwan.
Taipei really has done a lot. So yes, please, we welcome you to Taipei and experience the smart city by yourself. Thank you for sharing, Taipei City Mayor Ke. So our next speaker is from Academia Sinica. the most preeminent academic institution in Taiwan, which reports directly to President Office. So let's turn your attention to the Vice President of Academia Sinica, Dr. Mei-Ying Zhou.
Hi, good morning, every online person from all over the world. My name is Mei-Ying Zhou, Vice President of Academia Sinica in Taiwan. We are honored to be a partner of this web conference. I was given the task to welcome all of you to Taipei for this conference. It is pity that this did not happen because your health and safety are the greatest concern. Therefore, we're meeting on the web, which is perhaps the most appropriate form for this web conference, even though I had hoped to meet all of you in person here in Taipei. I understand that the web conference is yearly international conference on the topic of the World Wide Web. It is one of the most important conferences for people in different disciplines to share the latest research findings and plan for the future of web-based technologies. In particular, this year, we will reflect on the past 30 years of the World Wide Web. Even now, it is playing a more and more important and critical role in the era of big data and artificial intelligence. I would like to congratulate the organizers for successfully holding a conference of this scale in the cloud. This will definitely set an example for years to come. I saw from the program of the conference that we have the participation by some of the most prominent and influential practitioners in many different fields related to the web. As usual, this conference will set the future trends. As the co-chair said just a few minutes ago, I believe that you will also invent the future. I sincerely wish that everyone will have a fruitful experience in your scientific and technological endeavors. Most importantly, best wishes for the safety and health of you and your family during this turmoil period. Thank you very much and wish you have a wonderful time working with this web conference from everywhere in the world. Thank you.
We appreciate your insight, Dr. Zhou. So next, I would like to introduce the key person from the International World Wide Web Conference Committee. So it is the organizations that manage the WWW Conference Series. So let's now welcome the chairman, Professor Dame Wendy Ho, and we will have her to give us a speech.
So thank you very much. It's really difficult to not be able to see what's going on, but it's my pleasure to be online at 1:30 in the morning in the UK. I am really sorry that we're not in Taipei this year because I love the hospitality and the food, but another time, as the Queen said, we will meet again. But my role here is as chair of the International World Wide Web Conference Committee, which since 1994 has been the steering group for the conference. And I want to just start by thanking, I can't thank enough the team in Taiwan, Professor Yenon Hong and Erwin King, who I can see on the screen here, and all the people in Taipei who have within a month switched this from being a face-to-face conference to a completely online conference. One of the first in the world to do this, and this will set standards for the way conferences are run in the future. This whole event, this whole situation has been a tipping point in the way conferences will be run, and I'm really looking forward to being part of it. I want to make two announcements today. Firstly, a major announcement for the conference series. We put out a press release yesterday to say that from 2022, the web conference will become a full ACM conference. As you know, the ACM have published the proceedings for many years, and we have always kept an open access proceedings. We will keep that going forward, and we will become part of the ACM family of conferences. And that news was announced yesterday, and the first conference that was an ACM conference will be in Lyon in 2022. Next year we go to Slovenia. We don't know whether that will be virtual or real or some hybrid of the two. Let's hope for all our sakes that we're out and about by then and being able to socialize in real time as well as in virtual time. My second announcement is, as ever, we have a Test of Time award, and the money for the Test of Time award was donated by the Seoul conference when South Korea ran the web conference, and the chair of that conference in Seoul was Professor Chin-Wan Chung, who normally would come up on the stage with me to present the award to the winners. I don't know if you can see his picture. You're supposed to be able to, he is online to congratulate with me this year's winners. And as you will be able to see on the website, the winners this year of the 2020 Seoul Test of Time Award for the Worldwide Web Conference, for the web conference, is Mining the Peanut Gallery, Opinion Extraction and Semantic Classification of Product Reviews. And the authors were Kushal Dave, Steve Lawrence, and David Pennock. And they are with us today, well, at least two of them are, and I think Kushal is going to say just a few words about winning the award. Over to you, Kushal.
Hello, am I on? I just want to say thank you. We are humbled and honored by the recognition. It's such an amazing award. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you to the International World Wide Web Conference Committee. When we wrote this paper, the web was in its early days. It was quite small, but you could already see that user-generated content was going to become a thing, and that it was going to be hard to sift through all of that. And we were taking a first stab at trying to figure some of that out. Looking back at that paper after all these years, three things stood out to us. First, the marriage of user interface and machine learning. Looking at the attribute level instead of the document level opened up a whole new world for us. It becomes much more clear what you're aiming for when you do a classification task. And it's also easier to forgive the machine learning when it's wrong because it's already unlocked this whole new superpower that you didn't used to have. Second, we learned as much about what doesn't work as what does. We tried a lot of variations of things, and we weren't afraid to try simple things or counterintuitive things based on looking at the raw data and seeing what it was telling us. We saw success just looking for simple patterns, starting with the word the. We turned off stemming, which actually improved performance. We tried a lot of simple IR techniques in addition to complex machine learning algorithms and saw that they often succeeded. Steve used to say that perfect is the enemy of the good, and you see that philosophy in a lot of today's applied machine learning. A lot of different solutions are being built and just seeing what works without necessarily having a theory and maybe filling the theory in later. And we think that's an effective approach. And third, the third thing we learned is never underestimate the power of giving your paper a funny title, because that clearly has made the paper memorable for lots of folks. Thank you again, everyone.
Congratulations to all three winners. So last but not least, Programs Committee Co-Chair, Assistant Managing Director of Microsoft Research Asia, Tieyan Liu, He will join us here to give the opening remarks.
So hello everyone. This is Tian Liu from Microsoft Research Asia. This year, Martin and I are acting as the program co-chairs of this conference. So now let me share my screen. So first of all, we would like to express our sincere thanks and welcome to each and every one of you, no matter you are physically or remotely attending our conference. So let us have a rough idea about our conference by looking at these numbers. This year we have 12 research tracks, which attracted over 2,000 abstract submissions in total, and 1,600 of them converted to paper submissions. And then we end up with 1,500 of papers which entered the regular review process. As a result of the review, we accepted 317 papers in the end, including both full papers and short papers. I would say that review of such a large number of papers is not an easy task. There are thousands of PC members who are the hero behind the scene, and we exchanged over 20,000 emails in the past half a year. And you may be curious where these papers were coming from. This figure shows the number of papers per country and region. And here we also list the top 5 countries and regions with the largest number of submissions. If we normalize the number of the submissions by the size of the country or region, we will get this refined list. Interestingly, in both lists, Taiwan is ranked on top 5, meaning that the local team really did a very good job in promoting our conference. If you look at the distribution of paper submissions over different tracks, our traditional big 3 tracks are still there: web mining, user modeling, and social network analysis. But if we have a closer look, as compared to last year, there are some interesting changes. For example, the user modeling track has a significant growth of 21%, and it became the second largest track. And the economics track, on the other hand, shrank a little bit by a relative change of 33%. And these changes are also reflected by the topics of the submissions. This figure shows the word clouds of the papers submitted to the web conference last year and this year. We can clearly see some new emerging trends this year. For example, graph, social network, user, and deep learning are hotter than before. And for the review of these submissions, this year we have done some experiments. In addition to the regular review process, we introduced a rebuttal phase and 2 rounds of submissions, before and after the rebuttal, in order to get a better informed assessment of all these submissions. We also had a face-to-face PC meeting. The track chairs who attended this PC meeting collectively made decisions on the acceptance and rejection of the papers. As a result of that, we accepted 20% submissions, and we also formed a best paper committee, and the award-winning papers will be announced at the closing ceremony. This slide compares the keywords in the accepted paper and the rejected paper. From this comparison, we can see some very interesting phenomena. First, graph, learning, and neural networks are very hot this year, but working on such hot topics doesn't necessarily give you any advantage. In contrast, focusing on topics like recommendation, knowledge graph, question generation, etc., seems to be more welcome by the committee this year. And overall speaking, with the joint efforts of the committee, we have put together a very strong technical program. In total, we have 73 parallel sessions, and this is a glance of all the sessions. Hope you will enjoy them. Last but not least, we would like to thank our track chairs, our PC members for their hard work. We would also like to thank you for all the support to our conference. Once again, welcome and please enjoy our technical program. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the opening remarks. We appreciate your insight. The Web Conference 2020 will start now, and I will turn the mic over to Dr. Yanan Huang to introduce the opening speaker.
It's my great honor to introduce our opening keynote speaker, Minister Tang. The title of the talk is Digital Social Innovation, Taiwan Can Help. Mr. Tang is currently the Taiwan Digital Minister in charge of social innovation. Minister Tang is known for revitalizing the computer language, Perl and Haskell, as well as building the online spreadsheet system EasyCalc in collaboration with STEM curriculum. In the public sector, Minister Tang served on Taiwan National Development Council Open Data Committee and K-12 Curriculum Committee, led the country's first e-rulemaking project. In the private sector, Minister Tang worked as a consultant with Apple on computational linguistics, with Oxford University Press on cloud lexicography, and with social text on social interaction design. In the social sector, Minister Tang actively contributed to Government Zero, a vibrant community focusing on creating tools for civil society with the call to fork the government. Let's welcome Minister Tang.
Hello, this is Audrey Tang. I'm Taiwan's Digital Minister. I'm really happy to be here at a Web Conference 2020 open ceremony to share with you some thoughts on the digital social innovation in Taiwan. At the very beginning, I would like to say that a definition of social innovation in Taiwan is social innovation participating from the entirety of the society to the benefit of the society. And so during the coronavirus outbreak, this has become the cornerstone of the collective intelligence system that enabled a rapid response to the situation at hand. Just one example. This is a web page of our trending forum, just like the Reddit in the US. And this forum is called the PTT. Last year, in December 31st, Dr. Li Wenliang posted a SARS outbreak whistleblowing in the PRC social media. And immediately, it got reposted by this person called Nomo Repipe on PTT. Whereas Dr. Li Wenliang gets inquiries and eventually punishments from the PRC police institutions, here in the PTT, the contrary happened. You can see here that it's very early in the morning, but the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, noticed this post almost immediately. And it escalated to the highest level of the CDC, which then said that, okay, starting from the next day, the first day of 2020, we will begin health inspections for flight passengers from Wuhan, China. And so this shows two things. First, that the civil society in Taiwan trusts the government enough to talk about the possible new SARS outbreak in the public web forum. And the second thing is that the government trusts the citizens enough to take it very seriously and treat it as if SARS has happened again, something that we have always been preparing since 2003. According to the Civicus Monitor, Taiwan is the most open society in the whole of Asia. So in terms of freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and so on, we enjoy the same freedom as other liberal democratic countries. The difference here is that Taiwan, because we're a very young democracy, we're very open to the inputs from the social sector, from the academia, the journalism community. And this enabled the rapid response, which in turn enabled us to still be open for business, open for schools today. Today, you can see that everybody listens to the Central Epidemic Central Command, the Command Center, CECC. There's a daily conference. It's almost like a live-streamed conference every day. where the commander asked all the journalists to present whatever they have found from the civil society in an Ask Me Anything format. And the press conference does not end until all the journalists are done asking questions. And during the live stream, everybody can type in their questions and their suggestions. And between the two CECC press conferences, anybody can just pick up the phone and call 1922. There's like 30K calls in the past few days. Everybody can suggest a new idea for the CECC to adopt. Again, this is a social innovation at its best. Just one example. In April, I think 12th, there's a tip from the journalism community that there was a young boy, very young, but because they got a pink medical mask, they dare not go to the school because he feared that his colleagues, his classmates may laugh at him for wearing pink. Just very quickly, very fastly, the next day, everybody, including the CECC commander and all the experts in the CEC press conference live stream on the web, start wearing pink medical masks. This is not only a great thing for gender mainstreaming, which is also such an innovation, but it is also a great way to ensure that people get the feeling that whatever new situation, whatever new collective intelligence gets the rough consensus from the civil society, it would immediately become a binding policy, a binding regulation, or a binding norm for the CECC. And that has enabled mutual trust that it is the collective intelligence in a very fast fashion. The second thing I would like to touch upon is fairness. Fairness through mask rationing is one of the best things that has happened in terms of prevention and control of the spread of the virus before we develop a vaccine. And the fairness is done through web technologies, in particular open data through JSON and CSV, through mask rationing programs. Starting very early on, we decided that not only we need to publish the stock levels of all the pharmacies where you can visit and swipe your national health insurance card to collect your mask rationing, but we actually publish the stock level not at the end of the day, but rather every 3 minutes. So ever since early April, all the civic hackers, all the people who are working on social innovation have real-time access to the stock level data of all the pharmacies. First, it avoids people who repeatedly visit a pharmacy that's out of stock, but also it has a massive reassurance psychological effect so that people can listen to voice assistants if they have blindness, or people can prefer to use the line, which is an end-to-end encrypted chat bot room like WhatsApp, so that they can ask the bot what happens with the NHI pharmacies, contracted pharmacies. There's 6,000 of them. And most importantly, the pharmacists who are professionals can help educating the people on the importance of hand sanitation, of social distancing, without which the medical masks are not useful. And so the NHI, because they cover more than 99.9% of the entire population, everybody gets into a calm mood that if you feel that you develop symptoms and so on, you can just put on the facial mask, go to a local clinic, get treated without incurring any financial burden on your part. That is partly also why there was no panic around mask distribution. And they're also enabled the idea of independent audits. There's many civic hackers that then wrote dashboards that analyzes this real-time data, making sure that people can see every 3 minutes how many supply, whether it's oversupply or undersupply, in which municipality, which counties, and so on. So at a glance, you can see adults and children's masks and their respective supply curves. And when we ramped up the mass production capability, you can see for yourself very quickly, like on the right part of the slide, that you can now collect 9 medical masks per 2 weeks if you are an adult, or 10 medical masks per week if you are a child. And again, this is not only transparent, this is participatory accountability, very much like a distributed ledger. So you see our premier smiling very happily here. And that is because after working with the pharmacies for a month, the analysis from the civil society tells us that it is actually very difficult for people who work very long hours because the pharmacies close at night. If you work until 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. every day, if you're working on a very challenging profession, such as being a minister, you often just go after work and there's no pharmacies open anymore. And so because of that analysis, we then started working with the convenience stores. So starting today, you can also take your same NHI card, go to the convenience store, swipe in the card, and pre-order, because they still need time to deliver to the more than 11,000 convenience stores, and pre-order your mask for the next week. Because of this, the access, the fairness is massively expanded. So now we not only take care of people with various different abilities and neurodiversities and sensory diversities, we also take care of people who have to work until very late so that they can still pre-order and collect masks from a convenience store. So that is, again, social innovation with a sense of social fairness. The final thing that I would like to share with you is this idea of humor over rumor. The social web have led to a lot of people connecting to each other like never before, but it also enabled rumor to spread so fast that it's usually almost like a virus, like when the original person receiving the rumor and did not bother to check, they may just share it out of outrage, out of anxiety, and affect like 3 other people. And after that, they may discover that this wasn't true after all. And so they get cured and inoculated, but the R0 is 3 because they have spread the conspiracy theory to 3 other people, and then it becomes a epidemic of sorts. And so in the same way that we need to counter the virus of the body, the way that we counter the virus of the mind, that is the rumor and disinformation, we choose a particular strategy called humor over rumor. And this is based on the idea of fun. And fun is very serious business because we know that during a pandemic, people feel anxious about pretty much everything. It could lead to panic buying. It could lead to conspiracy theories. So the same premier that you just saw in the last slide, smiling happily, now shows his buttock. And this is a very large print that says, we only have 1 pair of buttocks each. And why would he do that? Because at that time, there was a panic buying of tissue papers. And the rumor was the medical mask production is taking the source of the tissue papers because the masks are made of paper. Of course, it's not true. The medical masks are woven in Taiwan using Taiwanese materials, and the tissue paper are woven using papers that produce in South America. But if we just push this table, it will not get as viral as the rumors. So we put on it a very funny meme and packaged it so that it looks exactly like a tissue paper box. And then that went viral. And so by making sure that our clarification, our humor spreads faster than rumor, we quail down the panic buying almost immediately, and then discover that the person spreading the rumor of the tissue paper leading to panic buying is actually a tissue paper reseller themselves. And this is not a one-off event. Everybody who have watched the CECC press conference knows that at the end of the CECC daily press conference, everything that the commander said will be translated into dog language, because the Ministry of Health and Welfare has a spokesdog with the name Zongchai, or the dog CEO. And the CEO, Zongchai, who is a dog living with the participatory officer of the Ministry of Health and Welfare. So the MOHW, after the press conference, they just go back home, take some photos of the dog, and then post a viral dog meme that talks about variously social distancing, covering your mouth and nose when sneezing, reminding you to pay for the pre-order, as well as the proper hand sanitation rules. And because each of these are really very funny, they each go viral. And again, this serves as inoculation against the various different conspiracy theories and also folk medicines or whatever that could hamper the counter coronavirus efforts. So the thing here is that fun is very serious business. If we get into a sense of fun when it comes to public education on epidemiology, then everybody remains calm and collected. If we don't respond so quickly with those viral mimetic social media pictures, then all the conspiracy theories and rumors and disinformation would have room to grow. As I understand, I have this very brief opening address, and there's far more information than I can deliver within the space of 15 minutes, but it's all on this great website. It's called taiwancanhelp.us. So Taiwan can help us. So thank you for listening, and this is just my short contribution to the web conference. I wish you all a great web conference on the web. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your wonderful speech, Mr. Tan, and we are happy to have you here today. Now, we will take a 30-minute break and resume at 10 o'clock for the keynote speaker, Dr. Yolanda Gill. Thank you, and hope to see you all there later.